Oh, hello there. And so you guys come in. I'm Brady from Serious Creatures, and we just launched a Kickstarter of an imagination art book. This art book is full of imaginative worlds that I've drawn about a quarter of, and we hope that your kids will finish the drawing, and they'll finish it in really imaginative and creative ways that I've tried to give them a springboard and a jumping off point to create these really fantastical worlds. But I'm sure that you've had an experience somewhere along the line where your kid says, "Mommy, how do you draw an airplane?" Or, "How do you draw a tank?" And you have no idea how to draw a tank. I've got no idea how to draw a penguin or a camel or some sort of monster. So today, I'm going to hopefully give you some clues and some tips on how to go about doing that with your kid. The key is that any image can be broken down into three fundamental shapes. I'll show you what those shapes are, I'll show you how to combine them together, and hopefully how to help you teach your kid how to do the same with any image that they want. And I think it'll be a good starting off point and give them some more encouragement on their drawings. So let's begin. Welcome to the magic inside of my computer. So like I was saying, everything is created from these three shapes. You have your circle, your triangle, and your rectangle. And I'll try to show you here what I mean. So here is a sketch that I did, or a drawing that I did for one of our cards for Serious Creatures. This is the progression. And as you can see, the things doesn't start out here. And this is where the majority of the problems happen with kids that I work with, is they want to just draw the perimeter. They want to immediately draw the thing that they see or the thing that they want it to look like in the very finished piece. They want it to be finished really quickly, and they want it to be perfect, and they get really frustrated when it's not. So what we try to do is try to encourage them that this is actually what it looks like. And I try a lot to show this is a picture from Instagram, is that this is what my picture starts as. It starts as nonsense, but you can see these circles. Like, this is how I draw this little otter guy with just a bunch of series of circles, and then I end up connecting them together. So you can see where these shapes start from, and then you can see the circles, and this is how you build up a form as opposed to just starting from the perimeter. And this is one of the hardest things for a new, it was hard for me to do it because I started just like this. But that's when I started drawing with these shapes. First, it revolutionized my drawing, if I could figure out how to say that correctly. But so what I hope for you to do is try to teach your kids how to do this. Whenever they say, "Mom, how do I draw an iPhone?" You don't just say, "I don't know," or just draw something like a rectangle. Because if you just draw a rectangle, Steve Jobs will be mad at you. It's not just a rectangle. There is some subtle design things in here. And so really, the issue is this little circle here. So you've got these little bitty circles that are in addition to the rectangle. So if you do it this way, where you end up having these the circles to help you define the image or the shape, then you have a much better version of an iPhone. And Steve Jobs and all of those at Apple are much happier with you and your appropriate drawing of an iPhone. But then when you inside, this is actually just a legit rectangle, and there's your circle. So you can see the difference here. This is what you think the iPhone looks like. This is what it actually looks like with these shapes moved together. So let's look at something else, like, for example, an animal or a penguin. Let's look at this penguin. What shapes do you see in this penguin? So what I would do is, if a kid came and said, "Brady," I'd say, "Yes, kid." He says, "Will you draw me a penguin?" And I said, "No, I will not draw you a penguin, but I will help you draw you a penguin." He says, "Oh, okay, great. How do we do this?" I'm like, "Okay." So I pick up a picture of a penguin, either in a book or on my phone, and I say, "Kid?" He says, "Yes." I said, "What shapes do you see?" He says, "I see a penguin shape." And you say, "False, you do not see a penguin shape. What shapes in here do you see?" And so you can help them see how this is like a triangle. And then you have a circle here. Here you have more or less a rectangle shape. And these are not exact, and that's kind of the key, that you have to figure out how to start seeing these shapes. here you have more rectangles. You have some triangles here for some feet, and then rectangle here, and then you start connecting them. And this is the key. You just have to just beat into your head or into your loved one's head softly and gently, is that you don't just start drawing a penguin like this, because you're going to jack it all up. It's going to look janky. We don't want janky penguins. We want good looking penguins. So what you want to do is you want to start with a circle with a bit of a triangle. And here we've got some rectangleness. Give them a little penguin belly, because penguins have big fish bellies. And, then you can start filling it out. But you start with the shape first. And we know that, what does his tail look like? Well, his tail looks kind of like a rectangle. Okay, good. On his feet, kind of rectangle-y feet. Some triangles here. Some triangles here. And then, but it looks all messed up. No, it doesn't. All you gotta do is you wanna bring your friend the eraser, and the eraser will work like this. And you can start making a pretty decent penguin. And then the other key is that this is the basic shape. This isn't finished. And so now you can start adding all of the little cool details, like where's his triangle arm, his mouth, whatever it is that he's doing, because most penguins wear some sort of top hat as well. You can start adding things on top of them. And maybe he has a Han Solo holster, because you've got to keep your blaster in there in case Greedo comes and you're like, back off, Greedo, I'm not going to Jabba, not today, I'm going to kill you first. So you can and then you start adding all of these things, and it looks much better. But you start with the basics, which are your shapes. Let's look at another one. Dog. Hey, Brady. Hey, kid. Can you draw a dog? I can draw a dog, but I'm going to help you draw a dog. All right, sweet. So what are we going to do? We're going to find, what are your shapes, dog shapes? We've got a circle, and we have some rectangles. All manner of rectangles. We've got a big circle here. Got some circle on his rumpus. We've got a rectangle, rectangles, 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 lots of rectangles here. And so this is what we're going to kind of do with our dog. But it's not finished, because then of course you have to erase these guys and try to start then adding in the details after you erase your shape. So I'm also encouraging kids to draw lightly. It's also something that doesn't come natural with kids, is to draw lightly. And once you have a shape, a pretty decent shape rendering, then you add the details. The eyes, the ears, clearly the corncob pipe, and other things that you do whenever you draw dogs. Lastly, let's look at something that's not necessarily a dog. Well, it's actually clear that's absolutely not a dog. This is a monster truck, because when we draw cars, we want to make them more exciting than monster trucks, or more exciting than normal cars. This is a beetle, and so look at the shapes here. What do we have? We have lots of circle shapes. Even this, the body isn't really a rectangle shape. It's much more circly. Lots of fun circles here. And then we do have rectangles up here, but again, they're actually kind of rounded rectangles and circles. So then you go and erase all these guys, the overlapping lines, to try to finish out the drawing. And then after you finish this part, it's just really the basics, and then the real fun part comes in. You start adding all the other stuff that you want to draw in there. See, it looks like nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's just the foundation. And you just erase it. You create this awesome monster truck. And what do monster trucks do best? But they run over things. And so then you can start putting fun stuff over here that it's running over, like this big piece of bacon that it runs over like big monster trucks do. Or you can put stuff sitting on top of monster trucks, like big, like here we go, praying mantises, because that's what is usually on the hood ornaments of monster trucks. But same thing. You just build on it, and then you erase it, add some fun stuff to it. See, as I made that with circles and shapes, or circles and rectangles and whatnot. And so you've got your very realistic rendition of a monster truck beetle with a praying mantis on the roof driving over bacon. And yeah, so hopefully this will give you an idea of how to use shapes, how to see the shapes in there, and how to work with your kids on how to help them see these shapes. Please let us know if you have any questions. We would love to answer them. We're all over the internet. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on our blog. We're on all manner of things. If you can't find us, yeah, you would be able to find us, because if you couldn't find us, you really wouldn't be able to tell us, hey, I can't find you, because that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully we'll make more. Please leave comments and questions for us, and we would love to talk to you. All right.